Hello, hello,
That,
testing, testing, one, two,
that
three.
was trippy.
That was
Hello.
That was trippy.
th-
That was like
that's Hadar
I know it's like
Jericho.
we're
Is the
marching
fact.
we're marching your ass to the chocolate factory.
So today we are live. We're streaming on Twitch. Um, I'm Nama. This is Shlomo. He is in the same studio with me here. That's why we have one little image of us together. And Hannah is obviously at another location. And we're going to be discussing the Jewish Defense League today. The wonderful, amazing, super cool Jewish Defense League of the USA. And so basically, I'm going to present it like this. It's a two-part question that we're going to discuss today. The first part is, does the Jewish community want the Jewish Defense League to help, to exist, to help the Jews? And this is the second part. Does it matter if they want the help or not? So, what do you what say yous?
Well, when I first got involved in the JDL, it was to defend the Torah. And I'll admit I didn't read everything he wrote when I first got involved, but I think the simple idea to defending the Jewish people, it's pretty easy to understand.
Okay. Um so what do you think about that question though? Do you think that the people, the Jews who are not in the JDL, outside,
Yeah.
like
Well,
other Jews, do they want us
I
to
think
help?
the reputation precedes it, as some would say, it's pretty bad branding. Like where
Like it scares
it
people.
scares people to the sense where they say, "Oh, this could harm, my business or my standing in the community," or my rabbi says, no go. Isn't that recently there was a New York rabbi who he's part of the group of rabbis in New York, and he said, "Well, I don't really know anybody that would join the JDL in New York," and he claims to know millions of people because he's this rabbi from New York, right? And so if his assessment
He
is
doesn't
that
wear a kippah.
oh
I'm
there,
just saying.
there's no tough people in New York that want to be militant about it, because people, they see what it means and then they look it up for themselves and they go, oh, so I have to blow up a building and I have to shoot at some people and
So I
I got to
mean,
get thrown off the top deck.
right, the same type of gaslights they say about the JDL, the same type of gaslights they put out about the IDF.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, they
yeah,
target children. They're genocidal racists.
yeah,
They're having dogs rape you and shit. After the stuff with the dog rape bullshit, at this point, I think it's fair to say that let's not ever listen to anything that their side says or any claims that they make and verify every single thing independently, right? Because,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
we can't fucking. Okay, if you're like, well, it says when I look it up that the Jewish Defense League, they're considered terrorists and all this stuff. Like, none of this stuff is true, but it's on the internet.
Well,
So why why
this
do why do people act like that's true
so
after this level of lies have been exposed?
well, here in Chicago we have the Chicago Jewish Alliance, who suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Michael Rappaport says they're doing great things in the streets of Chicago.
I've
So
never seen one of them on the streets
yeah,
ever.
I don't
What have they
understand that.
done?
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't
They
know. I don't know. Haven't seen it
do
yet.
events for Jewish joy, apparently like dinners and things, and then um sometimes they'll show up at like Skokie and Evanston city council meetings to make leave public comments, just the same as any regular Jewish person. Like, I don't know. To me, it seems like stuff
Well,
that Jewish people would normally do already anyway.
Yeah, but did
regard
he say that they were doing things in the streets? Because to me, that sounds like mobilizing people, being
yeah,
at counter protests, shutting things down. Like, have they done that?
One thing where they all went with signs after I had already went to the Olive and Oak Cafe to
yeah,
protest.
they went 2 weeks later.
Two
Yeah, that's the
weeks
only
later,
thing I remember.
Yeah.
and they had another thing that they
Th-
sponsored on a campus where it was like a "Ask Me Anything"
this isn't this isn't
Israeli guy or
this
something.
isn't about us griping about them more than it is we were doing this since 2000, and another group come along and says, oh well, you guys are shady and nobody should talk to you. I mean, we had a lady call here, and when she found out we were JDL, she never called back. It's like stuff like that. It's like, well, if everybody's just going to go by what Wikipedia says, we're fucked.
Yeah, because
I
it
mean,
also says that
it says stuff that's
Israel's like
lies and
a
conjecture,
an ethno state, and
Yeah, yeah,
you
it's
know,
not trustworthy news source.
I mean,
People that didn't get tried for a thing, they'll put, oh, well, they were suspected of terrorism. Okay, well, they weren't tried of terrorism.
well, the other thing is
So,
that people don't realize that Wikipedia is like the Gen X nerd TikTok. It's
yeah,
where people will go to try and influence the public's view on things, and they would go and edit and put shit from sources that were clearly biased. And most of these topics were shit that most people are not looking up and don't care about, so they're not high priority pages. So over the time, bullshit gets built up that shows an obvious slant on Wikipedia, but people are like, well, it's reliable. I just check it out, and they think that they're like reading a book, like a real, like an unbiased book even.
But at what IQ level are we talking here? Because I
yeah.
think
Internet,
Wikipedia has pretty much like always been known to be editable by the public. So to take it as like a true source, you just have to be so out of it.
Yeah.
right? But that's the problem. So many people are so out of it nowadays, that that's a problem. And
Well, look at how many people will go to an Instagram page with a Kahan quote, but they won't join up and do anything. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, everybody
But
wanted
that's
to
what I
click.
was really getting at before. Yeah, that like a lot of people want there to be action. You see people commenting on videos like, if I was there, that person would be on the ground and you should say something back and where are the bear Jews? But nobody, wants to really
hey,
support those bear Jews.
I just got suspended permanently on Twitter. I,
Permanent.
yeah, I was encouraging violence against your mayor.
Oh, I don't know what I want to say about that, but not a fan.
Well, I
I don't
mean,
know. I don't know any Jew that is, though I know they exist. Apparently,
there's Sid Rosenberg. Have you heard of him?
of course.
Yeah, he's pretty vocal right now against the mayor. So at least you got one guy in your corner.
Yeah, one good voice
Yeah,
there.
yeah. But it is America, The thing we're talking about here with JDL is that is the organization so scary and so wrought with tension and past crimes that people don't want to give us a fair shake and don't want to be like honest with us, and they want to play like reporter games and just hearsay stuff, and like we still provide what we provide. We have the Torah. Rabbi's taking a break right now, but
He
we
just had a
have
grandkid,
he
by
had a
the way.
grandkid. But
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. But we have a parsha that we try to do. We have the booklets that we put out. We have katav. We have when we get funds, we try to dispersal as much as we can into every little project that we do and try to bring things forward. But where does it go where you feel like, hey, we're just doing this and people are treating it like it's our failed brand? You know,
Like, oh
like,
well,
oh, that's nice, you guys think you're the JDL, but we don't really need anybody to stand up and tell people nothing and organize nobody or nothing.
yeah, we
So
don't need to learn about how getting
I guess this
guns
whole
and
podcast idea came from, I pessimistically said, well, you know, are we sure people want us to defend them? You know, because a lot of people have been very sour,
negative, yeah.
negative to the idea, or said something really, effed
Out of
up,
pocket.
yeah, out of pocket, and you're like, oh no, thanks, we don't want nothing blown up, or we don't want to poison nobody. It's, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like it. I don't know. It just seems
But
like we
those
try to
things
get.
are such insane beliefs. Like you genuinely believe that that's what a Jewish organization is doing. Like you are
Right.
believing libels that the other side perpetuates against us.
100,
Yeah,
100. Yeah.
just more lies about the Jews. Of course, they're going to make a bunch of big lies about the Jewish Defense League because when you want to slap somebody, where do you slap them?
In their face.
In the
Yeah.
face.
And we
In the
represent
face.
Judaism, so we do, because whether people want to question the levels any of us are at, we still have an undying urge to defend and protect, so that won't go away even if I go reform and start telling you I'm a clown
Well,
rabbi.
actually,
you know like, look at
actually,
me,
no,
I'm
I'm
gonna be the
actually, hold
first.
on, no. I'm actually proud of the reform.
Wait,
They
that's a
came
whole
out
other topic
with
though.
a pro Zionist rule
Yeah, well,
for their
okay.
ordination. So we, I'll quit ripping on them for a little bit,
They
but
earned some good points
yeah,
there.
there are
Yeah.
some points this week. So we'll be nice on
But it
their
was a
weird
deep
customs.
conversation we were having about whether or not, what we're doing, does it help, and are we agitating more than we're helping? Because, like, in New York has a lot of problems with terrorist shit, but Chicago doesn't, because Tasha's all over the place here, so they're scared shitless of her. They don't want just one person, and they're scared of him, and it seems to keep everybody in order, kind of like cattle. And I wonder if New
Oh no,
York.
somebody's gonna clip that goy cattle. See, they think that we're
Who
cattle.
cares?
The
Oy
goyim,
vey.
At this
they
point,
don't even think the goyim are
at this
humans.
point, what my enemy thinks of me, it's not my business. I don't care. He can think whatever the hell he wants, because we know who's the real deal. You know, people died. That's why we're doing what we did. Since October 7th, we've been doing what we did because people died. And that's something that we said, hey, not every group out there is going to encourage you to get a weapon. Not every
And
group
we
out
can
there can
see.
give you a CCL person that will help you get your light. Like we try to facilitate that, and firearm safety, and teaching people other stuff. But
Yeah, we got Jim to send you to. Come on,
yeah.
guys, like
But
get
where
with
but
it.
where does it become where it's like, we're giving off a lot and we should find like a corner to sit down and let people come to us? You know what I'm saying?
Well, in a
That's
sense, we do. They have to apply, but
true,
and
true. But we're not really getting, they're not sending their best. The Jewish community as a whole has so far in the past few years been kind of cold to the idea,
yeah,
you
well,
know?
that's because
Because we've heard
there's
from
too many
Christians,
pussies.
we've heard from Christians
There's
for
too many
sure.
pussies, and they let everyone else know that they're pussies, and then they wonder why. Oh, I went to this thing and so these Arabs beat my ass and stuff, and it's like, well, maybe you could have used a little training. Maybe we weren't extreme for saying get a gun, get a fucking weapon, get a
Yeah,
license, learn how to use a fucking a pepper spray, learn how to
yeah.
fucking defend yourself, get a
So
body.
now,
How could that be extreme when just today in Queens,
yeah,
a
exactly.
Jewish camp had a person come in with a hammer to attack, and two people are in the hospital. So I
That's
don't think
crazy.
that there's anything extreme about defending ourselves. We are
No,
being
yeah.
attacked on a daily basis.
And we're not immune to it either. People do crazy stuff, but we have, here in Chicago, we have people on standby, but you guys have the Shomrim, but you can't be always ready
and
with
they're
a legal
only
response. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
And here's the
So
thing is with the like Shomrim, Hatzola, they do great work. I've
Great
never
work.
been pushing them, but they're small organizations that exist primarily in Hasidic neighborhoods. They're not just like all over.
yeah,
Okay.
they can be. It depends on what's going on,
Well, but I mean,
you know,
their
but they
numbers
need,
are
but they're
No,
like
but I
us.
see
Yeah,
them in New York. I have to be honest. I see them in like when I'm in the Jewish neighborhoods. Like when I'm in Astoria, I do not see them. When I'm in
yeah,
Forest Hills, they're all over the place.
right because they're primarily in the Jewish neighborhoods,
Yeah.
and not all Jews live in Jewish neighborhoods. You know.
yeah.
Um,
Well, that's what I mean. It goes by each community, and I guess in what sense we're trying to say, how can we spark a further momentum of work and progressive get things done, understanding that, hey, people might not really want to hear what we're saying, but we're not, she's not going to stop. I mean, I've talked to her and said, hey, how about we just retire and
try to do something
go do
else.
another band, because we had a guy wanted to play recently, and we both said, well, we're going to try to play, and they're going to stop us and say, oh, these evil Zionist Nazis are trying to have a show.
Right.
So
Of
it's
course.
almost like we're stuck over a barrel, almost like life has put us there, where, you know what I mean? It's hard to explain, but it's a true story.
Regardless, even if my artistic endeavors were like paying heavy dividends, even if I was rich off the shit, because there was a time when they were trying to BDS us, but we were living off the music. We didn't have to work regular jobs. Yeah,
Yeah,
there was a time when we when the band was paying for life,
yeah,
um, and even if it was still doing that at this point, and I didn't have to, do any other labor and things like that, even if that was the point, I would still be doing what I'm doing because I personally don't care if people want my help. The Torah tells me to not stand idly by my brother's blood. It doesn't say wait for your brother to stop kvetching about why you shouldn't, do this. And no, nobody cares. You push the lady out of the way of the bus, and then you worry about her complaining that she fell at the end later. That's the way
yeah.
I look about it. Yeah, she didn't want to fucking get mud on her dress, but she also didn't want to get hit by a fucking
It's
bus.
a superhero.
You know,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Well, I mean, I guess that's what this conversation spawned from, the idea that uh, there has to be a continuation of Jewish defense regardless. I remember Kahan said in an interview, well, I would love to shut the doors,
Right.
but frankly, it's not something that'll ever happen, because a war is eternal unless it's over, and we
Until
for
it's
sure,
won,
until it's won,
you
exactly.
know,
And so, at what level do we,
and we intend to win, and it's not won yet. So, I mean, to me, that is what it is. Like, it
yeah.
literally is what it is.
See, and that's the CEO talking. So,
I mean, how can you just stop fighting when you've not yet won? That's to lose.
or
It's better to win than to
you
lose.
like
It's better
Kahan
to
said,
live than to die.
yeah, or either way, come to something.
You
You might
know,
not die. You might be able to make a deal. So you got to fight,
you got to
and you
live.
got to
Yeah.
learn that when the fighting starts, there's thinking about it is how you get killed.
Yeah. You
So
have to
you have to
be
let it out.
prepared with like muscle memory for like
Yeah.
what is the right thing to do. You can't just like in the moment go, "Oh, well, it's so late in the time now. Let's call the JDL after, Holocaust 3.0 starts kicking off." That's
I
like,
mean,
okay.
because the JDL obviously has a very ferocious reputation. Dealing with the press has shown us that, how they were very guarded with us, and didn't want to, like, tell the truth about the organization, and they
That's
wanted
why I
to
record when I
belittle
interact
us
with
and say
them.
that there's only one person, and it just the whole mood from them guys is the same mood we get from the rest of the Jewish community, though. where it's
The
like
normal Jewish community, right?
really doubting us, And you said today how it relates to a biblical story that,
Oh, Gideon.
yeah, I mean, and I'm not saying this is true, but what if it is the truth, and then like nobody was paying attention and we were, and,
Well, yeah, in the book of Judges and Shoftim, I talked about this on the blog too. But Gideon, he has to go fight the Midianites, right? And he builds up his huge army, and Hashem keeps whittling it down, like losing guys, losing guys. Okay, each guy's gonna have to do this. Okay, whoever didn't do that, they're out. Take them to the water, and whoever cups the water up to their hand, keep the one who puts his face down to get the water like a dog, he's out. And it kept going down till he only had 300 guys, right? And he's going along the way, and he's asking fellow Jews, like in towns like Penuel and Sukkot, asking them for food for the troops, and they're like, well, how do we know that you're going to win? Right. So
yeah,
that's what we're dealing with.
yeah.
It's the same attitude where people are not sure that our methods will be triumphant. So rather than help us make them triumphant, they would rather stand idly by their brother's blood.
Well,
Now, what happens in the story
yeah.
is, of course, the 300 go ahead without the help of the other people. They are victorious, of course, because they're doing what Hashem told them to do. And then they come back and have to basically destroy the buildings and punish the people who didn't help on the way. So we don't want to have to punish the people who didn't help on the way.
Yeah, that's
so
a lot of work.
Well, how about be helpful on the way?
This is Israel.
Exactly. Fucking kick you in a hole. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's what I mean. I think in our life, we've applied these principles and it's kept us safe and our families safe. And so we just want to apply the principles to a larger group, I guess, in a way.
Everybody's
And
got to be ready.
yeah, but I think the constant reminder becomes to a point where we're like, okay, we told everybody. Now, what's the next stage?
Right. We keep telling you.
What should we do now? Should it be a concert tour that promotes the group? You know what I'm saying? It's just
regardless if they want
trying to bring in a public debate.
The trouble, they got it. That's my viewpoint. And if you guys didn't want like the JDL popping up and stuff, well, then I guess you all should have been more successful with your other methods. You should have prevented October 7th. You should have put the kibosh on this fucking pro-Palestine protest movement before it got out of control. You know what I mean?
Well,
they didn't do anything. They didn't go onto the campuses and do stuff until after the fact.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to try and catch the horse when he's already running wild out of the barn. It's like you should have kept the freaking barn closed like we told you.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
But, that's why I'm saying about this podcast. It's a special podcast to ask the question, because there's going to be people who write. I know, I'm not going to mention names here, but there's going to be a lot of people who write and say, oh, well, this is what you should do. And they always got ideas. So here's the main one. How do we show people that the organization was based on following God and following the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob?
Yeah.
And that is what we're doing. And there's
defending
and all the other
Jewish
stuff is obviously
idea.
Journalist trappings, to the idea. And so where do we as dedicated members sit when we're trying to do our next move? Should we be less into the public eye or more into the public eye? Should we, be secretive or be more outright with what we're trying to do? Should we open more chapters? Should we give more, because we have members all over, should we give them more permission to open more chapters? These are all questions that I think belong to the Jewish community. I don't believe they belong just to the JDL. And I know I'm going to hear from the rabbi. He's going to say, that's liberal. What are you telling everybody on the podcast?
The locations is a concern because realistically, most of our like actual signed up members live often areas where there's pro-Palestine people are not a problem, because
Well,
this is where the tough people go and live. They go and
yeah.
live out in the hills, and so and so works a farm or lives back in the woods, or you know what I mean. And a lot of wimpy people do live in the cities, and that's why you have the conflagration of these leftist things, because there are a lot of wimpy people in cities who are not ready to
Yeah, but I don't
lift a
believe that.
log and toss it. Like,
Yeah,
and if you can't lift a log and toss it, you can't lift a guy and
but I
toss it.
don't believe that, Rabbi, that people have like, and we're also not at war where everyone's got to be able to like throw a tree 1,000 yards. You know, it's like
That
we still do need
would be
people who are
cool.
nerdy, who are behind the scenes, who want to,
Right,
help
there's
us with
different roles.
information and things like that. There's different
We have
roles for
some
stuff.
stuff on the blog about
But
that.
but realistically, how do we positively move forward? Because at this point, with other people, we feel like we're unwelcome and we're walking on eggshells. So
I
that's
think there's like a bigger issue that overall there's been this muddled, like assimilated idea among some Jews that like were supposed to be like peaceful and kumbaya
yeah.
and just
Hippie
turning
viewpoint.
the other cheek, but it's like not that's not Jewish values.
Right,
Well,
that's Christian, and it's also they're adding some hippie in there too.
Mhm.
And you know what? And I get it. A lot of people are influenced by, like,
yeah, but I'd rather do
drug
what God
culture and
says, though.
rock music and all that kind of stuff, whatever. But put your Jewish spin on it,
Yeah.
okay? Don't let their values take over your values just because you're into some certain music or something. You're not a hypocrite by going to shul or joining the Jewish Defense League and also listening to your rock records or whatever you
See,
do. Everybody thinks that, all of a sudden they have to
I
be live some
think,
ascetic lifestyle or
I
something.
think she should. We should bring back the show, the Shofar, and it should be
That's
daily.
what. Well, that's
No, well,
we're trying
either
to do it
this is
daily.
just audio.
Oh, okay.
So there's gonna be a lot
You
of
mean
people
with
I
the
know
studio
love the
set up?
audio ones because they listen in their car when they go to work and on trips and stuff. And I can understand how that's a lot better
I just,
place to ingest your
I didn't want
podcast.
our beauty to distract them, because we're so
Come
glamorous
on,
over here.
we're getting
Living the
old now.
glamorous life.
But I
Yeah,
do think the show should
warts and all.
probably be a little bit more. We should be modernizing it, where Tasha has the same effect on commenting on social events and stuff. Maybe you know what I mean.
It's. I mean, we can. The
Tasha
show.
TV.
Yeah, like a Tasha
It has a
TV
good
where
rig.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
that's,
has
yeah,
yeah.
silly, but we can revamp the show and do a lot of different things. But the point is that
Well, you remember why we
people have
started
to
this
believe in
podcast?
the idea.
Stay on topic, as Greg Common
Right. People
says.
have to believe in the idea, and they have to be wanting to contribute to something like that, regardless of if, like, what I'm saying is, if we have to work too hard with clicks and whistles to and gimmicks to attract them, then they're not probably the serious people
Well,
that really
when
care about defending the Jews. They're just like clicking because they saw some flashy stuff or something.
when
I
we
mean,
did
I
Fight
don't
Wing,
know.
it was easier because the restrictions for joining were whether or not you
Now
had
you
a F.
had a
Ooh, listen to that.
little echo. Whether or not you had an FOID. So
Yeah, if you had an FOID, you could join, but if you didn't have one, then you know we weren't going to let you in.
right, but now with the application process for JDL, I think maybe some people are scared to put their information. They're like, well, I don't want to. I just want to click on a email list with a anonymous name, and I don't want to give my real name and stuff. But realistically, I mean,
Well, if
that's how
there
you
was
see
a
these,
JDL in Queens, they could have called today and said, "Hey, a guy came into our daycare. With okay, we'll be there tomorrow morning."
or the
and
in
and we will and we're
the
not
camp.
bound
You
we're
mean?
not bound by the law and to do that other thing. We could come and just set up shop and make sure that nobody bothers nobody.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
if
that's what the
right,
defense league would do if that's what we're called on.
but you
But if
can't
they're
do that
like,
if there's like one
no,
person
no,
here,
that
one
we
other.
can't have you just telling people they can't do things and be hitting people, so okay, well, so that is would be what we would fight harder. The people telling us not to, don't react in that way, don't go bring your own hammer.
Right?
I'm
Yeah.
not trying to be funny. I know it
Yeah. No.
sounds funny,
But
but
that's how they are. Yeah.
that's how exactly.
Everybody wants to complain. Oh, the other side is so scary. They're violent. Blah 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 blah. As if the complaint will make it go away.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to prepare for the fact that yes, they are violent. It's like alcoholics who haven't got to the level of acceptance, even though they keep repeating the fact. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like they're saying it, but you're not accepting it. Like, yes, they're violent. You must be prepared with greater violence.
People who are violent will only really respond to fear. If they don't fear their opponent, then they're not going to stop.
Right, and they're going
It's
to,
basic
especially,
bully rules.
yeah, exactly. Especially when they feel emboldened by some social group, you know?
Or in this
Like,
case, all of society.
yeah, it's some social group called retards, idiots, dumbasses, whatever you want to call them. Low I,
Democrats.
yeah, yeah. People with low IQs, communists, inbreds, you know. Um,
Our problem is Illinois Republicans are indistinguishable from the Democrats.
frankly, yeah.
We found out that the guy who's running for governor, his running mate is connected to Hillary Clinton. So there goes that.
And strip clubs with potential prostitutes.
Yeah, great fucking Republican candidate.
And and again, with these, like, how many of these Jews even still have TDS, and they think that, like, oh, being a Republican is like, they're in some like weird thinking that being Republican is to be a Nazi, and so they need to be scared and still vote with the Democrats who want to kill all the Jews basically at this point. And,
Yeah,
it's
there's still a large number of Jews who, they say they feel politically homeless, and they may or may not have voted for Trump in this last election, but like they still refuse to like break away and say that they're going to vote Republican from now on. Like they're actively talking about like candidates in the Democratic Party, like there's hope there.
Yeah.
yeah, like there's no hope there. Like I'm not even saying, who knows? The Republicans might put up a groiper next, and we don't want to vote for them, in 2028 or something. Although
No,
that's highly
yeah.
unlikely. They're probably going to put up Rubio, who we will all vote for. But
Well, they better not put up Vance.
yeah, they put that
No,
fucking monkey up there.
he ruined himself. He ruined himself. Yeah.
After this gig, he's gonna be
He's
swinging
gonna
from
have to go to
trees,
the left
man.
after this. But he always did. You can look up his old stuff. He talked
Yeah.
about Bernie Sanders
Oh,
being his favorite.
his mother was a junkie. His brain is screwed from the beginning. Let's be
And he's
honest.
got a fake name too.
JD Vance is not his name.
I remember when you weren't allowed to do that. Run with a fake
No,
name.
Sounds
it's
like
not.
some kind of code name from like The Office, like Michael Scott's undercover name when he checks into
J-
hotels.
Defense. Yeah.
Well, he legally did change it to whatever John Vance or something. It's actually Bowman or something. But he just made up that name. It's not a real name. So, anyway,
Stay on topic.
yeah, never mind JD Vance. Let's get back
We're
to
talking about the JDL. This conversation is
the
important
JDL
because
Advance.
we're going to continue the
See what I
path
did
that
there?
we're on. Like we have the new Kitab is coming out.
Oh yeah, we're going to be doing a new series of Katav magazines, which will
Yeah.
eventually end up in the next omnibus.
And hopefully it'll end up being one big book.
Mhm.
So everyone can just take away a whole book of it and read it. But I'm afraid that they're going to find out way after we've gone that we were helping. Like these things that we're doing, we don't have the money to put them out there everywhere in America. You know, get them all out of stores or anything like that. So, and like you said, the name it hinders.
It if you are afraid of something called the Jewish Defense League,
Well, there's still
I
Mormons
don't know
operating using
how
it. That's
much
why.
nicer he could have waited. Because eventually, originally it was going to call the entire organization the Jewish Panthers, but he said that maybe sound too militant. So let's go with Jewish Defense League. And I mean, can you clean it up any more than that? What is wrong with something called Jewish Defense League? We're supposed to believe that anti-fascists are actually just opposing fascism, but we can't take Jewish Defense League at face value. It's such a double standard, you know?
I also think it's wild that people are still judging an organization based on the way the organization was decades ago. I mean, the climate and society was very different then.
Yeah, it
So the
was.
ways that people chose to protest the particular events that were going on during that time is not necessarily the way that in 2026 the Jewish Defense League is going to choose to do it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other thing is they always associating completely wrong action, saying that, oh, this was a JDL action when it was somebody who had been kicked out of the JDL like 10 years before. Or, oh, this guy, JDL is terrorist because of, what's his name? Moshe, somebody, and it's like, okay, well, you're leaving out the part where he tried to assassinate the leader of the JDL. Like maybe he was not really a JDL guy, huh? Like stuff
Yeah.
like that, where they just skip over the inconvenient facts and try to paint this picture. Oh well, there's all these different things we're associated. Well, I can do that and cherry pick with anything that is associated with something political. You know, I mean, how many Democrats have killed people? Come on. They How many Democrats have shot people? Like literally every mass shooter in America has been a Democrat.
Ooh. Well,
I mean, so what are we talking about here? Oh well, was that official Democrat action? Pulse nightclub?
so the consensus is that we're going full speed ahead. I mean, because you really haven't argued that it would end. So, you know what I
No,
mean?
I don't have any reason or understanding of how that would even happen.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
if
when
you
I
ask,
say never again, I really do mean it. Like, I don't see
Yeah.
where we cannot have a Jewish Defense League in this current climate.
We need to have the rabbi come speak in New York.
people in New York, if you're listening, maybe you're too wimpy to join the Jewish Defense League, but you can't be too wimpy to figure out how to book a rabbi talking somewhere, right? Sort
Yeah.
it out and contact us, guys. Come on.
That worked last time. It
Hey,
literally did. No,
sometimes.
a lot of people listen to podcasts you wouldn't believe. You'd be like, "Oh, wow, these guys are listening to Jason and Natasha." In their cars too. People tell me because they're like, "Oh, I had to go on a trip to Cleveland, and first thing I do is make sure I could listen to podcasts."
Yeah.
Oh,
And
cool. They
so
catch
this
up on
one,
your old ones and go, "Oh,
yeah,
I had no idea you said
we will be
that."
sending this one
Here,
um
I thought you were vapid. No.
to the YouTube as well after this. So right now we're live on Twitch, but it will be also on YouTube eventually.
What's that? The comments on YouTube you're showing you?
No, this is Twitch only.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, our chapter has been going for a long time, and we've been doing something for the JDL every year, no matter what. And we just want to share that ethic, and hopefully that restarts itself somewhere else. Because, it doesn't have to be where everybody's like calling us racists. What is that? Like, I mean, I, I don't,
And again,
yeah.
we can discuss it all day about how if we believe in Adam and Eve, how do we believe in racism? You know what I mean? So obviously, racism is outside of Jewish values. That should be obvious, all right? Clearly, we believe that Jewish values are the best. If that makes us Jewish supremacists because we think that not being supremacists is the best, well, okay, weirdo, go ahead and define things how you want. Like, I guess apparently it's bad that I think that, denying racial superiority is the way to go. Like that makes me a Nazi in this topsy turvy political
Well,
climate.
they think Jews are a race, and so they think
Anybody
you're
could
trying to
become Jewish.
defend a race. And it's like I think you guys are all crazy.
Crazy. I dealt with a guy today, just today actually, an Arab, of course, who said that he truly believed that Moses had killed all the firstborn, like himself. He had personally killed all the firstborn.
Like he didn't read the.
This is a biblical story that is known throughout
No, he wanted
all
to.
of human
He wanted to
memory.
attribute guilt to Moshe. Is what he wanted to do.
Yeah, I said Moshe didn't kill anyone except for the Egyptian that was abusing the Hebrew slave, and then he struck him down and he died. But
What do you use? The same magic Santa uses to visit all the chimneys in one night?
Right?
yeah, he killed all of them in one night.
This might make a good like Jewish horror movie, though. He's like a serial killer going around.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. Right?
But that's fantasy. It's a movie. It's not
Yeah,
really what happened.
we'll call it Blood on the Door.
Ooh, it's pretty. That's a ominous title.
Spooky. Yeah, but I mean, this is like the level of people we're dealing with. So Jews need to just wake up and realize that number one, everything they're telling you about the Jewish Defense League, if they're not pro JDL, they're probably fucking lying. Everything that's anti JDL is based in a nonsense lie or an omission of truth. Where they say, oh, yeah, this guy that was in JDL killed somebody. Yes, after he had been kicked out of JDL. Because people in JDL were like, man, you're crazy. Get the fuck out of here. How many times does that happen? And then we still get crazy people sometimes. We're like, hey, I want to join JDL. I'm crazy. Let's blow some shit up. And like, no. Can we see how, I'm not going to get too comfortable and forget what happened last time. Like, I don't know what people are thinking. But, okay,
There's a reason
so
we have vetting.
yeah, I guess what it comes down to is the answers to the question are what? Does the Jewish community want our help? Some of them do. A lot of them, the libtards, do not.
Do not.
Does it matter? No, because the Bilskis still had to put up with bitchy yids that they didn't get along with in the woods. They still rescued them. Even the fools who were considering working with the Nazis or turning so and so into this other thing, and the other guy who was working with the red partisans, everything stops mattering so much when you're talking about life and death. And this shit, unfortunately, has come down to life and death. So we're gonna fucking educate you about how to protect yourself. We're gonna fucking show up at things when there's, a clear need for that. And I feel like I don't care if you want my help. I'm going to push you out of the way of the bus. Yell at me later after the bus is gone.
Who do you want to be? Do you want to be the person who takes part in the Warsaw Ghetto uprising, or you want to be the person wringing their hands, saying, "No, don't bring us trouble. Don't call attention to us." Like, I don't want to be that person.
Historically, that person
Doesn't make it very
doesn't make it to the end of the story, you know.
um,
And sad but true, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at all them people in the Gaza envelope. All right, how many people did you see in the Nova footage wearing keffiyehs? You saw several. You saw a few. Those were people that were helping people from Gaza get into hospitals in Israel. They were bringing them humanitarian packages, which they really didn't need, but you know, they believed all the bullshit. They thought that there could be two-state solution. That was the whole point of the Nova thing, was that it was like some peace fest that everybody's supposed to like get along, and it was like, you know, Arabs and Jews and Asian people and people from Europe and all these different types of people, and they all got brutalized by the reality that is Gaza. Unfortunately, as sad as it is, if they had been more prepared and more, you know, what the lefties on the internet call racist, if they had been more racist, they might be more alive. So let's be real here. We can't keep joking around, acting like Donald Trump is the Nazi, and we're gonna make peace with these fucking inbreds. All right, Donald Trump is not the winner.
Tell us how you
He's
really
not the
feel,
biggest
Natasha.
guy. He's not the great man of the 20th century or something. He's just the president, but he's also not fucking Hitler. And the closest thing to Hitler is any random motherfucker in Gaza. Grab him, pick him up, and ask him what he thinks of Hitler. He loves him. He loves him. He would suck Hitler's dick. All right.
They go to and shop at Hitler stores.
They found all these hand painted images that people had in their houses. That they made their own Hitler portraits and shit. Don't fucking bullshit me and act like you know, Donald Trump is the problem more than the Arabs. I mean,
don't
you know,
pee on us and say it's raining.
right?
Oh,
It's a
what an unattractive portrait.
Yeah.
right.
Oh my God, the aesthetic.
Everyone loves the one bald painter.
Yeah, well, yeah. What a gaslight to act like we need to worry about some, you know, douchebag in America, and then you have other people from the Middle East filling our country with people from their countries. People who want to kill Americans, want to kill Jews. They also want to kill Christians. They're not a fucking fan of the gays, as we see once again in Berlin and other places. And yet people just supposed to go, oh, well, you know, it's okay because it's a different culture and we just don't understand them. And they don't have money and economic issues and mental illness. That's what it is, right? No, I think there's something that they all have in common. And if it happens to be mental illness, why would they all have mental illness in common? Could it be genetics? I don't know. Inbreeding?
I think we're way off topic now.
No, I think we're still on the same topic because
Well,
we need to make it clear to Jews that we're dealing with, you know, psychotic Nazi inbreds, and we need to
They
quit
need the reminding. Some people seem to have forgotten.
Yeah, see, people forget that we're dealing with psychotic Nazi inbreds, and
I think they got the reminder. Guy with a hammer in the daycare. That'll wake you up.
Yeah, at the day camp. Yeah,
Maybe you know.
Like, come on, man. Well, okay, so consensus is reached.
Yeah.
We're here. We ain't going anywhere. You don't like it? Fuck you. Okay.
Well, they can use this podcast as a reference.
Yes.
We did try to.
We discussed it. We thought about your viewpoint.
Yeah,
it sucked.
About it, and we thought about an alternative to what people had recommended, and we're bringing it up. But frankly, you know, he said never again. I think she just coined it perfectly, though.
Yeah,
she meant it. So.
It's not like Well, maybe.
Well, I'd say we up the show and get it back on the air once a week of a visual show where you need to be like Asmund Gold where you can talk about the current events and show us a video and make fun of it and stop it and
I
stuff.
was doing that occasionally. I don't know. Does that go over well?
No, you'd be good at it. I think you should
A
keep
lot
doing
of people really like that format. It's
that. I think
very,
Okay.
very popular. I enjoy it.
yeah, see, everybody enjoys
Okay.
it. And if
Well, yeah.
Tasha
I mean,
does
I can
it,
do that.
you can add your
I'll
horrible spin to it.
I'll
and,
add
you know,
some based commentary on top of these
horrible spin, I call it.
jackasses. All right. Well, I think
Okay,
it's past 50 minutes.
So watch for the show to pop up.
So watch for that to pop up, folks. We're going to be doing some new
And thanks
things
to Spotify, who also builds military drones for
for hosting us. Again, we're still way behind on Spotify uploads, but
well,
whatever.
we could go start with this new one.
Yeah. And maybe we'll
it-
catch up with the old ones at another time.
Yes. Well, thank you, Hannah, for being our guest. And
Thank you for having me.
No problem. No problem.
All right, and remember, folks, everything that you see at the bottom there scrolling along is still accurate. So please apply to join the Jewish Defense League of the USA if you are, in fact, a Jewish defender. And if you're not ready to do something like that, either physical reasons, location, whatever, you can donate and help out the people who are members, like the ones who you've heard on today's stream. Like, subscribe, all that bullshit. Do the same thing on the blog. And have a good one, folks.